full moon. Guarantee you there's something shady happening. Okay, check now. Somebody check now. Hi, Andy. Still nothing? It's saying I'm live. Okay. What is up? Okay, I can see me now. I can see me. Are we good to go? But no video? Somebody comment, let me know. You see me, thank you, Lisa. All right, awesome. Let's go. Okay, we're good. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, awesome. Okay, you guys, well, this is fun. So today we are talking about the top 5 health habits. Welcome to Whole Fit Talks. So I'm really pumped to be here with you guys. Thank you for everyone listening to this as a podcast replay, and for those of you that are kindly hopping over to iTunes and leaving your review. We actually hit the top 5 of all health podcasts this week over on iTunes, thanks to your reviews and thanks to your downloads. So if you didn't catch it last week, I'm actually doing a fun giveaway for anyone who hops over and leaves a review last week or this week. So if you haven't done that and feel inspired to let me know what you like about this weekly broadcast, I would appreciate that so much. I love hearing how this weekly show has been a part of your health journey. All right, so also I wanted to mention, if you guys have a question or a topic that you would like to see as an upcoming show or be answered live on the broadcast, please head over and add your Q to the queue. I'll have my assistant Jill, she'll pop up the link for you guys of where you go do that. So right now we have about 30 questions in the doc. And most weeks, in addition to the topics, such as the one I'm doing today, I will take several of the questions from there, and then we'll do like a weekly Q&A cleanup. Probably once a month I'll do that, where I'll go through and do just a complete Q&A for all those. So hello to everyone on Facebook. Thanks for your patience. We're up and running there, and we'll get started. So last week, the very first kickoff episode for this season, I jammed on my thoughts after attending the annual doTERRA convention, which I know quite a few of you there are on right now. We're at that convention. It's the largest of its kind, and the core message was super inspiring. At least I found it inspiring. Just hearing about the vision of how one of the most powerful and one of the largest natural health companies in the world today, being doTERRA, just hearing their vision for healthcare, and specifically what their plan is to actually solve the problems that we're seeing today, okay? Truthfully, they are one of the few health companies that are actually in a position to do this. So that's really important to understand, and because of that, I am so excited that they have stepped up to the calling to be a part of this solution. And not, I mean, it would be so easy for a company or really for any of us individually to just keep our head down and worry about ourselves, right? And, you know, when you actually create more health and happiness and abundance in your own life, you are going to feel inspired and led to share that with others, okay? This is the sole reason I do this show, that I give of my time, that we can have these conversations together, is because I am a highly inspired person because of the actions I take in my everyday life. And when I look at a company such as doTERRA, which is creating a massive amount of abundance and health around the world, I'm inspired by the way they are taking action to go to the next level, because it would be so easy for them to not do that, because we live in a world where the majority of companies today are popping up quick and falling apart quick because their core values are off. So it encourages us on an individual level to look at what we can do in our own lives so that we can be in more of a position to affect greater change. How many of you are interested in that? If you are, then today's topic is going to rock your world, because we're going to strip it down. And I've been in the health coaching industry now for a decade. I've worked with thousands of people in their health. And when I think about what the core things are that really move people into a state of higher health and happiness, it's going to be the 5 things we talk about today. And the temptation is always to make things way more difficult than they have to be, right? We tend to overcomplicate things. Often, if you peel the layers back, the reason for that is actually that you are scared of success. You are scared of living an upgraded life, a higher level of health and happiness. That feels scary to you for a variety of reasons. And that's why you might be complicating things beyond the top 5 things I share today. So let's talk a little bit about the why here. This is not going to be news to any of you if you have ever looked into statistics on the direction that our health is headed in, okay? And if I was to pull out some of the key indications that we are today living in, living in a day where it is imperative that we take the health back into our own hands, it is because of these 3 things, okay? Now, number 1, this is especially interesting to me because I'm a parent. How many of you are parents on live right now? How many of you know the statistic I'm about to share with you? I just want to gauge the live audience. And I just want to see if this concerns you. So this would be one of the areas that we know our health is not heading in the right direction, okay? And I don't see anyone on Facebook Live. Periscope, anyone have any idea what I'm about to say here? What's one of the top 3 indications that our healthcare system is broken? And we're seeing this in our kids, okay? So a lot of you are commenting, brand new parent. Yes, Periscope's all over it. Life expectancy. So here's the scary truth. For the first time in history, our children are not living as long as their parents. So while my parents' generation, or even my own generation, might be able to scoot through life and make it into their 80s, the reality is it's not a high quality of life. But now what we're even seeing is the actual length of life is becoming shorter and also of lower quality. So this is like key indicator number 1. Number 2, 1 in 3 people today will have cancer in their lifetime. So you go out for dinner with your girlfriends, you all might be relatively healthy people. Sometimes it's the state of the health internally that tells the bigger story that we don't always see on the outside, which is why we sometimes will say, I can't believe Sally got cancer. She's the healthiest person I know. And there's a lot of internal noise going on that leads to this. But 1 in 3 people. So you're out with your girlfriends, there's 3 of you at dinner, 1 of you at that table will have cancer in your lifetime. It is unrealistic to think that you cannot live an intentional life and have healthy habits built in and not get cancer today. So don't fear it, just know it's coming if you are not living intentionally and being smart about how you're spending your time and the things and what you're doing with it. And that's what we're going to go through today. The third indication is very simply, 2 of the things I'm going to cover of the 5 today. Unhealthy eating and a lack of movement kills 13 times more people in North America, more so in the US, than guns. So, that's like an obvious threat. We see somebody having access to a gun, or we think about violence in that sense, and that would take more lives, but actually not moving your body enough and eating poor foods kills 13 times more people than what we might think would be the most obvious lead to death, right? So knowing these things, what I wanted to do was segueing from last week and talking about what does actual change within our healthcare system look like? How is it going to be possible? It's not going to be possible by doing the obvious, by forcing people to do something, or you know, some of the key drivers of an unhealthy lifestyle are addictions, right? So it's not as simple as just removing cigarettes and alcohol and medications from somebody's life and forcing a higher state of health. That won't work. It has to be an inspired movement, providing access to the tools and information that people need to feel empowered and to make those changes, starting with them in their own home and eventually spreading out from there. And I have personal experience, obviously, within the playground of doTERRA. So, I know there's quite a few of you on here who either are already in doTERRA using the oils and products, or you are curious about it. And there's probably some of you who have no idea who doTERRA is. So go back and listen to last week's episode, because I won't be talking about doTERRA every week on this broadcast, but it was a really good episode if you want to understand what's happening in this natural health movement across the globe, not just in doTERRA, but how it's actually driving it. So it was a great topic last week. So leading into the topic today, as a natural progression from that, is like, how do we take ownership of that within our own lives and not be relying on some other system or some other person to do this work for us, because it will never happen. In fact, these 5 things are a guaranteed way for you to remove yourself from the current broken system. Okay? Who's ready? Let's do this, okay? Are we still good over on Facebook? Everyone can hear me okay? I see the comments come in a little bit delayed. Okay, number 1, water. Okay, so water, you guys, water intake is the simplest way to move the needle. Of all the things, this is where you need to start. So when I was doing one-on-one coaching initially, like 10 years ago, and then I moved into group work, and it didn't matter, you know, who I was talking to or what the issue was. I always had them scale it back and focus on water intake for 2 weeks, because I knew the temptation is there to think, I've got to like radically change everything right now or I'm not going to become healthy. So we sign up at the gym, we subscribe to a new diet, we set the alarm clock for 6 a.m. We're doing all of these things, and then we quit because we way overcomplicated it. And you need to understand here's what I know as a truth. When you do this, again, it's because you're actually really scared of what that might mean if you were healthier. So you want to make it, and the reason you're scared, you guys, a lot of people fear what's going to happen in their homes and in their relationships if they start to become healthier. So even though deep down they know that they need to, if there are people in their life that are enablers, or that they have emotional connections to around being unhealthy, such as the habits of eating fast food every night or crashing and watching 3 hours of Netflix while eating a bag of chips together. I mean, there's a lot of emotional roots to why we don't change. So if you cannot do something as simple as focusing on water intake for 2 weeks, there's something deeper going on. So you want to sit with that first. But let's break down water intake and why it's so important. So if you are somebody interested in having glowing skin, better digestion, better poops, higher metabolism, reduced fatigue, and reduced headaches, those are some of the key indications of not enough water, then this topic is for you, okay? And if you're not sure what I mean by enough water, a very simple baseline. Somebody mentioned it in Facebook Live, Bria. A very simple baseline for knowing how much water to have is half of your body weight in ounces, okay? So let's say you are a woman and you weigh 140 pounds. Your minimum water that your body needs in order just to function is 70 ounces a day. Now, I talk to a lot of people about this, and the number one thing, I mean, they're shocked often to learn that they will go a whole day without actually drinking any water. They'll have coffee, they'll have juice, they'll have kombucha, they'll have pop, they'll have all these things, and they might have some fruit or vegetables that have some water intake content in them, but they actually didn't even have a glass of water. So when you get intentional about this and real, you will notice that you're not drinking enough. okay? So your baseline is half your body weight in ounces. So what I wanted to do with this topic today, these 5 things, is I wanted to give you a couple of ways with each of these 5 things that you can have more fun with it and make it happen, okay? So number 1, go buy yourself 1 or 2 nice big bottles of water, like the largest you can find. So I personally love the Swell brand because it'll keep your liquids super cold, or if you're even drinking like tea or a blended coffee or something in them, it'll keep it hot as well. So they're functional, but they also look really good. I mean, if you're into unicorns or pixie dust, you can get a water bottle that actually looks like that, which is epic. So go buy yourself 1 or 2 of these bottles. Make sure it's on the counter every night before you go to bed to remind yourself that you're going to fill that baby up tomorrow, and you're going to fill it up 2 more times throughout the day, at least, okay? Largest bottle you can find. Second one, boost it up. If you would like deeper cleansing in your body, you're going to add 1 to 2 drops of a variety of doTERRA's citrus-based oils because of the limonene content in them that's going to help do deeper cleansing in the body. This one simple thing creates a pretty high level of health in people very quickly, okay? Just by adding 1 to 2 drops of a citrus-based oil or a citrus oil to your big bottle of water. Now, note this, essential oils and water do not mix, okay? So this is why you don't want to go adding oregano or cinnamon and only doTERRA. We all know this by now. So when you're adding the drops of the pure plant oil into your water, I would do 1 to 2 drops and give it a little shake beforehand. But the citrus oils are not going to cause any mucosal lining damage. They're not going to burn your throat. But it is one way for you to expose your body to limonene, which is the main constituent in your body. Sarah just asked, are citrus oils okay to take while pregnant? My advice will always be, do not start something new when pregnant. If you are somebody who's been doing that before pregnancy, your body is adapted, it is used to it. Same with exercise. When you're pregnant, it's not the time to sign up for a marathon, obviously, but and I'm being dramatic there. Do not start something new. Do not start a new supplement system while pregnant, okay? And if you are looking to do something, work with a naturopathic doctor while doing that. Your OB and most GPs are really, truly not going to know. I mean, they can pretty safely advise you on the low end of maximum daily doses with supplements, but I would even say they're not super educated in that area because it's just not their scope. So that's my advice for pregnancy, anything really is don't start something new. Now, in addition to the citrus oils, and just as a side note, my favorite to add to water are tangerine or just basic lemon. Store your citrus oils in the fridge too, because they do evaporate and lose some of their potency over time. And if you store them in the fridge, they will last longer. One other thing I'll mention, doTERRA has a metabolic blend. It's called Slim and Sassy. I love to add it. I'll add 1 to 2 drops in the afternoon, especially if you need to just kick some of those cravings that you might get in the afternoon. And at the very basic level, they help to flavor your water, right? So that is what will help get some people drinking more water. And again, you don't need to add a lot, 1 or 2 drops for a big bottle. So you might do 4 to 6 drops total in a day internally that way. The last thing I want to mention when it comes to water intake is eliminate, first of all, any drinks you're having throughout the day that have chemicals or sugar, period. Like no juice unless you're actually juicing it. That can have benefits some of the time. Even juices that you run through your own juicer or that you're purchasing at the store that are fresh juices, they're very high in sugar, which is one of the top 5 we're going to talk about today. So it's best to just drink water. To be honest with you, my kids are 6 and 8. All they have ever had their entire life is water. Aside from when I go visit my mom or our mother-in-law, they'll give them juice. Again, I'm not going to, cause arguments there, but we do dilute it half with water. I'm convinced when it comes to children, this is one of the main ways for you to increase their health is by really monitoring the liquids that they're having throughout the day. They do not need juice. And this is coming from a girl. I was raised on 2 drink boxes a day in my lunch at school, like many of you, okay? No bueno. Okay, number 2, and post any questions that you have. Misty asked, can you use oils with BPA-free plastic bottles, or does it have to be glass or metal? Always stick with glass or stainless. Those are going to be your best options. Yeah, because oils over time, if you have a citrus oil and it's sitting in a water bottle, especially if it's out in the heat, it's going to break down plastics, okay? I try to stay away from plastics in general as much as possible, and definitely BPA free. Okay, exercise. Here are my 2 cents on moving your body. It does not matter how you are doing it, as long as it is something you enjoy that gets your heart rate up for 20 minutes a day, okay? So here are some ways to maximize this. Number 1, you want to switch it up. So a good way to do this is seasonally. So rather than doing the same workout every day, just because maybe you're working with a trainer and they wrote out a plan for you, gotta watch this microphone. You know, if you're working with a trainer to develop a program for you, they will definitely be adding variety into that program. That's what you're paying for them to do, to challenge you, to keep you accountable, and to continue to mix it up for you. That's what a trainer is being paid to do. If you're not working with a trainer and you're just doing this yourself, great. Stop overthinking it, but do it. Get out for a walk. The best thing you can do is get outdoors as much as possible. Not only for the air quality while you're exercising, but if you can get a little bit of sunshine on your skin without sunblock, about 20 minutes a day, that's going to take care of your vitamin D levels. And I'll talk about that in one of the points today on supplements. But yeah, number 1, get outside when you can. Number 2, do it with somebody that adds value and joy to your life. Maybe you have a standing date with a friend that inspires you, or you go to hot yoga together. Maybe this is your way to increase the health of your relationship with your husband or wife, or boyfriend or girlfriend. Maybe you do it with your kids because you're wanting to model that for them as they grow, and it's a way for you to also connect with them. Okay, so some days my 20 minutes is dancing in the kitchen after dinner while we put away the dishes together and we're playing. I mean, you guys have probably seen some of my Instagram stories by now. We have a lot of fun as a family. We love music, we love dancing, so sometimes that's what it is. Other times I'm on the rower behind me. Sometimes 3 to 4 times a week, I love to go for a run outside and I'll listen to a podcast because I'm feeding my brain at the same time. Because growth here is growth there, okay? So when you're growing in one area, it's impacting the whole thing, okay? So I love to maximize my workout time, not by listening to music, which I do love, but I will listen to my personal development during that time. Instant energy for working out. I want to give you some real quick tips. Number 1, my friend Ruth Goff shared this with me. I just love it. Make yourself a greens shot 20 minutes before you work out. It's going to give you massive energy, and it's a really healthy way to boost your nutrition pre-workout. So here's what you do. You take, and you can start off with like half a scoop, but you put a scoop of tara greens in a little glass of water, okay? You could actually mix it into a little bit of natural or organic orange juice or something if you want. And then you stir it, and I will often add like a drop of lemon to it just to give it a little more of a punch. And you take that little shot with one of doTERRA's Terrazyme digestive enzymes. It really produces this like radical burst of energy. So give that a try. For those of you that have done some of my cleanse programs in the past, you're familiar with this technique. Number 2, peppermint on your temples. Love peppermint. It is my favorite oil because it is the one where I first understood the difference within the oil kingdom, okay? And the difference between brands. For a long time, I was using a lot of different companies before doTERRA. And once I smelt and used doTERRA's peppermint, I was like, oh, so this is a plant, right? How many of you had that same experience of like, oh, so this is plant magic? not that skunky smelling minty fake thing I was using for years before. So peppermint on the temples, it is like instantly clearing, instantly energizing. I also love to add a drop of peppermint to my water. Again, it's just this super invigorating experience. On that note, oh, and one more thing I was going to mention, the Breathe Stick. How many of you guys have used this? It's a vapor rub stick. It has doTERRA's respiratory blend in it. And what I love to do pre-workout to get myself like totally ramped up, ready to go, I'll just put a little bit on my neck and a little bit on my chest. And it is just so, it's so grounding. It's so connecting to your breath, which is super important when you're exercising. So give that a try. If you're somebody who's just needing like a little bit of a pep talk, one of the principles I love to adopt personally is from Mel Robbins, her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So if you're not feeling like working out, one of the best things you can do is try some of these techniques I've shared, like peppermint on the temples or breathe on the chest, and then literally be like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Lace up, get out the door, go do it. You will never regret moving your body. And the reason it's one of the top 5 health habits is because of all of the other things it affects. This is the thing with these 5 things I'm sharing today. All of these 5 things, they are like leverage in your life. And personally, I don't do anything today unless I have really big leverage. Okay, I'll get to that in one of the points. I'm going to tuck in a little message with that. Okay, yes. Alex says, you'll only regret the workout you didn't do. Like always, always, always. But again, this comes back to self-worth and how we value ourselves, because if we don't value being healthier, we will do everything possible not to do that workout. Third tip is sugar. So what you need to understand about sugar is it's in practically everything today by design. Okay, so the big food companies and big ag, they want to get you addicted to their food. There's also there's a hyperness in the food industry right now because of how many people are becoming truly healthier and leaving the system. And it's freaking out the big companies that are in it for the money, and the big companies that are needing you to be sick because they work heavily with the other system that needs you sick as well, okay? Read between the lines. So the food industry puts sugar in almost everything we make today because they know that's gonna be the quickest way to make a lifelong customer out of you and make you sick for life. So when you know that, number 2, the thing about sugar is it feeds 2 of the biggest evils that the average person has going on in their body today. Number 1, candida, having an overgrowth of that. The interesting thing with candida is sugar feeds it like crazy. And you know you have candida if you have an extreme sugar addiction. Always. This is why, okay? So you need to cleanse your body. You need to have breaks where you are helping your body heal. And candida is a tough one to evict from your body. It needs diligence. It needs a period of at least 6 weeks where you are starving it of all sugars. So it literally dies, okay? And as it's dying, it creates a pretty scary situation in your body. You'll have a lot of headaches. You'll have a lot of pain. You will have crazy poops. All this stuff will be going on because it's dying and it's screaming in your body, but you've been feeding it for so long, many of you since you were children. The second big evil sugar feeds, like literally it is the preferred diet is cancer. Cancer loves when you feed it sugar. It needs it to grow and to thrive. Okay? Ruby, cleanses for candida, just to back up really quick. Absolutely, there's a lot out there. But here's the thing you need to know. You need to starve it of sugar. Now, Ruby, I don't know if you're in doTERRA, but doTERRA's Cleanse and Restore program, where you're doing 3 10-day phases of like literally like stripping the gut, repopulating the gut, and then healing completely. You'll need to do that program 2 or 3 times. But it is one of the most effective programs out there because it's not pumping chemicals and fake sugars. And this is what is so common in cleanses. So if you are working with somebody doTERRA. They can guide you to that kid and help you through that, okay? Where was I? So sugar feeding cancer. So you need to know this is the preferred nutrition of the darkest things going on in your body right now. So how do we come off of it? So first you need to understand you've got to read labels. You've got to read your labels. You'll come to understand like things you didn't even think, like ketchup and spaghetti sauce. And I mean, there's the obvious ones like cereal, yogurt, granola bars, all those things. They all have a ton of sugar, okay? So a lot of interesting comments coming through on this, which, yeah, I see a couple of you commenting how it's sad that they give patients who are having chemo orange juice and cookies. This is a whole conversation we can't have as a live broadcast, but you need to understand this is by design, okay? So unplug from what is happening and get rid of the sugar in your home. So the sugar max for women, and this is by the American Heart Association, which produces content that I don't agree with most of the time, but as a general guideline when it comes to baseline health, the American Health Association recommends that women have a maximum of 5 teaspoons a day or 20 grams. Now, if you are someone who does read labels, you will know that just a little cup of organic flavored yogurt has often around 17 grams of sugar. So like there's your daily dose right there. So when you actually start reading labels, you'll be shocked at how much sugar you're getting per day. So your goal right now is how close can you get to the limit of 20 grams per day of sugar? So where was I going to go with this? So one suggestion when it comes to cutting back on sugar is to bottom line, if you're adding sugar to things right now, like sugar to your coffee or tea, for example, cut that back in half for a couple of weeks. That's a really easy way. Again, you don't want to just go cutting things really fast because you'll probably revert back to the old ways. Because the reason that people crave sugar, it's often an emotional root. And this typically comes back to childhood. And to be honest, the interesting correlation has been made that for those of us that were breastfed, and even formula fed, because formulas have a lot of sugar, it is the first time we are exposed to, I mean, breast milk does have sugar in it, right? Naturally, but it is that first connection to comfort. And it happens with that feeling of that sweet milk happening when we're a baby. And as long as you can delay your children when they start eating solid foods, as long as you can delay their exposure to any added sugars, the better, because they're very sensitive to it. And if we're at a very early age, if we're starting to expose them to sugars, they will, for the rest of their life, have a very strong emotional connection to sugar and safety. And this is why a lot of people have it. I don't mean to go all psychological on you guys or all deep, but if you actually unpack the issue of why you're reaching for certain foods, you will often discover that there is something emotionally rooted, some kind of memory that is providing you a feeling of safety and comfort every time you reach for that chocolate bar or that cookie or that pop or whatever it is, okay? So it's literally, sometimes what's needed is journaling and rewriting the story of what safe actually looks and feels like, or what happiness actually looks and feels like, and what's serving your best life. So beyond reducing what you're doing in half and reading your labels, it's eating a majority of your foods that are whole food, and whatever sugar you are getting, if you can have sugar that is attached to the fruit or vegetable, that is the best form. You will get to a point as you start to reduce the amount of sugar you're having where you literally will not be able to eat those foods anymore. Your body will be like, you will be so sensitive to how sweet foods are, and that is the state you want to be in. That is the natural state, okay? It's like, how many of you used to wear a lot of perfume? And we know today it's one of the most dangerous things we have in our routine and in our homes. But then when you stopped wearing perfume, what happened? What happened the first time you went into Abercrombie and Fitch or a department store that sprays perfume constantly? What happened? Because you had stepped away from using that perfume. Yeah, over in Periscope, you're then super sensitive to those smells. You actually choke. You get a headache. You get all stuffy. Why does that happen when for years you might have worn that fragrance, right? The same thing happens with sugar. When you eliminate it, or at least cut back, your body wants you to be in a healthier state. Your body is always trying to bring you back to a healthier, balanced state. Homeostasis, we call it. Okay, your body is on your side, guys. It wants you to thrive. It knows how to thrive. But when we are feeding it sugar, or in the example I just gave, constantly exposing it to toxins like fake smells, fragrance, which are completely different from pure essential oils, sidebar, your body struggles big time, you know? So sugar is very similar to that. And you will notice that it'll get easier over time. One of the things that a lot of people on my team love, and I personally love this gum, doTERRA has this metabolic gum, okay? Slim and Sassy. The base of it, it's sweetened with xylitol, which is the healthiest sugar for dental health. So I love, my girls will, actually my youngest doesn't like it, but my oldest Chloe loves it. And it has no aspartame, okay? So no toxic like neurochemicals added to it. This gum helps people if they're feeling that craving for sweets, or going through the drive-thru and getting a coffee and a muffin at 3 o'clock, it's going to help you through that time. So that's just a little sidebar I wanted to mention. Okay, number 4, smart supplementation. Quick questions. Angela, is a little raw honey okay to drizzle over plain Greek yogurt? That would be a healthier option. But again, and I mean, raw honey is going to carry some of other great benefits to it. But again, you're wanting to reduce your palates, right? You're wanting to improve your palate and reduce your need to sweeten up food. So you will get to a point where having plain organic Greek yogurt is delicious on its own, with some cinnamon sprinkled on and some like nuts and seeds thrown in. Maybe you chop up half of an organic apple. You'll get to the point where like that actually tastes indulgent and sweet. That's the goal. So I would just, again, half-life what you're doing and go from there. Or yeah, Alex says throw in a drop. One of my favorites is lime. Add a drop of lime or wild orange to the yogurt and mix it in. Okay, so smart supplementation. Here's my belief on people who supplement. So every high performer in health and business and in life in general, they supplement. And there's 2 reasons why they do. Okay, so I just want to get that out there. I need you guys to understand that. Every person you know today who's operating at a higher level supplements with a high quality system. So there are a couple of reasons. Number 1, they're very aware that even if they're growing their own food and eating 80% whole foods every single day, that they are still going to be deficient, and it's not worth it to them to go through life feeling blah. So if you are somebody who's sick and tired of feeling like you do, you need to look at your supplement approach. If you're not supplementing with anything, then now's the time to start, because you need to understand, like, even at the basic level, if you're doing a lot of great things with food, we're still going to be deficient today. Okay? The second reason high performers are going to supplement is that they believe they are worth feeling amazing and operating at a high level. So you'll notice I have threaded this in to each of these 5 things, because these 5 things are not super complicated. But if we have a belief or a fear of being healthier and happier and more successful in life, then we're going to take ourselves out of the game. We're going to keep buying our supplements at Costco or not at all, right? Like, we're going to do things like this because we're actually, we want to, we're holding back, we're playing small in our health, right? So here are my recommendations, okay, when I go through supplements. And All of this, my assistant Jill will pop up a link for you right now. I've actually created a toolkit. So like, here's huge value right here. If you guys want to hop over and look through that toolkit, I talk about a lot of the core supplements that the healthiest people in the world take. And I go through, a lot of them are by doTERRA, because and the number one thing I wanted to talk about within this, within the recommendations for adults, was a system doTERRA has called the Lifelong Vitality. And the whole system, it's a 3-part system, okay? And it incorporates a whole food multi, a mix of land and marine-based oils, okay? So that you're getting the healthy oils in your body, not essential oils, but like your fish oil, and you can get a vegan version of it. And then it gives you basically a bottle of cofactors and creators of energy in the body, antioxidants. So it's a 3-part system called Lifelong Vitality, and is built with the foundation of creating balance. So it's not going to be mega dosing in certain things. It's very balanced, and it's basically going to fill in your gaps of where you're deficient. Now, the interesting thing is the Lifelong Vitality system is the most ordered product in doTERRA. So even though doTERRA is the world's largest essential oil company in the world, this is the most ordered product because it works. It will, usually it'll take usually for most people a month of using to actually feel higher energy and see all of the benefits starting to happen in their skin, in their digestion. Like literally every system will be affected by taking this. But some people will have those results happen within a couple of weeks. A lot of people notice the change when they forget to take it after a couple of days, right? So it happens pretty quick. So the Lifelong Vitality, there's nothing like it out there because it does have 9 of the most powerful antioxidant-based essential oils like clove, okay, are in the Lifelong Vitality. Yes, a teenager can take it. Basically, if you think about BMI, once your child is at a BMI of an adult, so their body mass index, so when their height and their weight is closer to an average adult, they'll be ready for Lifelong Vitality. And just so you know, Canadians, it will be coming soon to the Canadian warehouse, but as of right now, we have to order through the US. Which is pretty awesome right now, because at the time of this broadcast, it's basically the same cost because our exchange rate is finally a little bit better. Okay, the second thing, so if you're not taking Lifelong Vitality, do your research, find a really good food-based multi, something that's going to capture all of your bases in a balanced way with vitamins and minerals, okay? So you want to get something that's just really balanced, that you're not just going to be peeing out every day. Do not buy your supplements at the drugstore or at Costco, ever. Don't waste your money. It is healthier that you do not take those things than taking a product that has a whole bunch of fillers and synthetics and garbage. You know, and a good indication of that is just like, how often is your pee neon yellow as you're taking these things? Your body's literally, it can't even work with those materials. So do your homework, but trust the science and research behind the Lifelong Vitality, okay? I'd love to hear from some of you that are on right now. How many of you are taking this? And how quickly did it start working for you? Do you notice a difference between, you know, days that you do take it and you don't take it? I know I certainly do. And there's a lot of education. I've got some great videos in that toolkit. My assistant Jill, I just want to make sure she's on, because I'd like for her to post the link for you of that toolkit. If I don't see them commented, the links for this, you guys, will be up in the broadcast within the show notes. The second supplement you'll want to be taking is a probiotic. So doTERRA has one called PB Assist. It is one of the highest quality probiotics you can take. I used to take a brand or a probiotic by a company called Thorne. And it was good. It's not as good as doTERRA's, because doTERRA's is double encapsulated, which means it's going to make it to the gut. I love reading your comments, you guys. Keep them coming. It's going to make it where it needs to go, okay? And the majority of your immune system function is based in your gut. So you need to have, you need to be populating it in a healthy way. And I'm not going to go into a major this could be an entire episode, you guys, on supplements. But probiotics are so important today because if you're not filling your body with exposure to the good bacteria, just know that your body is constantly being exposed to the bad, especially if you're using antibacterial hand soaps or antibacterial hand sprays, or you've been on antibiotics, or if you use a standard toothpaste, they're now putting things like triclosan in toothpaste. So you're constantly killing off your good bacteria with the bad bacteria it's overtaking. And this is often the root of why a lot of people are not feeling good. It affects a lot of systems in the body. So supplementing with a good quality probiotic. I also encourage you to take, to have a couple of foods every week that are fermented. So things like tempeh, which is basically like, kind of like tofu, but it's been fermented. So it has a different texture and it's more bioavailable in the body. Or kombucha, or sauerkraut, right? There's a lot of different forms, miso, soup, getting exposure. A lot of you love kombucha. And one thing I'll share about kombucha is, again, watch the sugar intake. But one tip I like to do is cut the kombucha in half with sparkling water, like Pellegrino, okay? A lot of you are commenting on LLV. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, I'll come back and hop through the comments tomorrow. I'm gonna keep focused here because we're coming up on an hour already. The third thing is a digestive enzyme. If you are over the age of 35, because by that age, sorry to tell you, and I'm in that category, but your natural digestive enzyme function is dropping year by year, which means a lot of the foods you're eating are not absorbing. Even if you are a girl who loves your salads, a lot of those nutrients are not actually being absorbed because your digestive enzymes are not as strong as what they once were. But then basically anybody who has any kind of digestive stress going on, you're going to need to supplement with digestive enzymes. So I love doTERRA's. I mentioned it earlier. It's called Terrazyme, and it's a blend of different enzymes, okay? And a good way, most people will take it right at the start of a meal, and often their heaviest meal. So it's and if you're, for example, like let's say you're in a rush and at lunchtime you're always eating and you're on the go, that would be the meal you'd want to take one or two of these about 5 minutes before you start eating, because it's going to trigger the body into knowing it's time to start digesting. So you don't have all this sitting in your stomach. Okay, and the last supplement I want to suggest you consider is a vitamin D3 and K2 blend. I prefer them together because vitamin D functioning is optimal when vitamin K is present, specifically K2. So they work better together. Vitamin D is one of the fat-soluble vitamins. So you have vitamin A, D, E, and K. They all require fats in the body in order for them to absorb. But vitamin D3 with K2 is going to be the best. So the brand that I currently use is Thorne brand for this. And if you live somewhere like Florida, okay, where you have access to the sun all year round, you may not be needing to supplement with vitamin D. So I don't supplement in the summer because we try to get outside every day to do something without sunblock on our skin. And that would be like the optimal way to get vitamin D would be for you to get outside and have sun hit your skin for about 20 minutes a day without wearing sunblock, okay? So that would be the ideal thing. If you can't do that because you live where I do and you have a seasonal climate, so we're heading into winter now in Canada, so now we're starting to supplement with our vitamin D. When the kids started school, that's when I started it because their bodies are now exposed to a lot of things. The vitamin D is going to help keep their immune system sharp. The thing that's interesting is nearly every cell in our body actually has receptors for vitamin D. So what this means is almost every cell in your body is waiting to work with vitamin D. So you want to make sure you have it in ample amounts. There's a lot of back and forth on what is a safe amount, but most of the supplements out there today, they will give you like 200 IUs, which is usually not enough considering 20 to 30 minutes of sun exposure will give you upwards of 30,000 IUs. So you gotta kind of give your body just enough, right? But don't overdo it, So the one that we take has about 1,000 IUs. I take 2 to 3 times that personally. but my kids will take that in a day. Sorry, the lighting's like going a little wonky here. Okay, so that's it. And then for kids with supplementation, have a good multi-mineral complex. So I love doTERRA's chewable vitamin. The PB Assist Junior, it will not be hard to get your kids to take this. It is a probiotic it's in these micro-encapsulated little, like almost like little powdery beads. Again, so that it makes it where it needs to go in the body and doesn't die off in the stomach. And then a good fish oil. So I give my kids doTERRA's Omega Orange Oil because it has a good blend of EPA and DHA, which is going to be really healthy for their brain. So one of the health habits we try to implement in our home is a daily smoothie. Usually after school, we'll whip something up and I'll put a good tablespoon of the fish oil in there. Okay, so again, Jill will post that supplements toolkit for you guys. Okay, my last point, my last of the top 5 health habits is a really important one. And it's going to surprise you. It won't be something you typically hear. But it's around integrating a daily blueprint to live with intention and live a beautiful life. Because at the end of the day, we are not here to be perfect workouters and to eat perfectly and to do everything perfectly. We're here on earth to live with joy and to live a fulfilled life and to fulfill our purpose and to do the work around creating the opportunity for that to come forward. So here's what I wanted to share with you on this. Be more intentional around how you are living your days, who you're spending your time with, where you're giving your time to. It is costing you if it is not supporting you your best life. And we don't have a lot of time. It all goes like that. So of all these things, if this is the only thing you start to do, it will affect everything else. So here's how you do it. Really simple. Take out a piece of paper, and at the top of that piece of paper, I want you to write, freedom to me is ... And then leave yourself some room to take some notes on that. And then you're also going to write, fulfillment to me is ... Okay? These 2 things need to guide how you are spending your days. What is freedom to you and what is fulfillment to you? So freedom, for example, freedom, what feels free, what feels light in your life, these are going to be the things that are life-giving, that create joy in your life, okay? And these are going to continue evolving. For some of you, it might help you to start by answering, what is it not, okay? So let me give you an example for me. Freedom to me is not doing anything one-on-one with when it comes to coaching or mentorship as much as possible, because fulfillment to me, on the other hand, is impact, is serving more people with my passion and with my gifts. But I will always give my time one-on-one to the right people, to the people who inspire me, to the people who are taking action in their life, like deep action, because they are the only people I identify are deserving of my time, that bless my life in a mutual way. And I'm just not interested in anything else anymore. And this started for me about 2 years ago. So that's one example for me. Freedom to me is having a lot of space in my calendar. Because to be real with you, I am paid the most in our life, to do a lot of development and thinking. Because I know that I'm a vessel of what inspires me. And because I honor that by not packing my calendar full anymore. Now, I'm very intentional with my day. If you were to look at my calendar, you'd say, oh, but you're not being truthful here. You've got a lot going on in your day. There's a lot of things happening in calendars. But every one of those things either creates freedom or fulfillment. I just don't do it anymore if it doesn't. And I have no qualms about saying no to people, but I used to. I used to be where some of you are at, where you feel like you're going to let people down, or you're not a good girl if you don't do these things. And man, I subscribed to that for years. So I understand where you're at, and it takes practice. It takes practice to not betray yourself and to show up and create a life that is fulfilling and free. That is the only way you will ever tap into your purpose. I assure you of that. So when you are living your life according to what other people think is right for you, it's going to be a miserable life, but you can change it at any point. Okay? Freedom to me is also having my A team in place, having solid leaders, developing myself at a high level so that I attract high level people. So that's like a key thing, having the right people in place in your life, whether that's in your business, in your team, getting help at home, asking feedback of the right people, the people that will give it to you in a trustful way. So that all is like freedom to me, asking for help in the right areas, having the right people in place. Fulfillment to me, this, when we talk about fulfillment, this is about going to sleep at night and reflecting on your day and knowing that everything you've done has been inspired that day, has been true to what you're here to do. And it's evolving and you're always getting better. That's the key. That you're not constantly doing things because someone else told you to do them, but that you're checking in inside and you're living your life out of your purpose, right? That's going to give you the best sleep at night, which is why this is one of the most important things you could do. So, fulfillment for me means deep action during the day in the times that I have set aside to do my work, if you can call it that, because I adore what I do. I love what I do. Deep action, not browsing what other people are doing, not watching TV, not listening to the news, but deep action on what I've committed to do. And then when my kids walk through that door, presence with them. When I can do those two things, I've had the best day ever. Okay? I don't put my feet up at all during the day. I mean, I guess if you were to spend time with me, you might think I'm one of the busiest people you know, but I'm very intentional about what I do. And I say no to a lot of things, and I don't care anymore because I know where my best work is. And so I know that this was something a lot of you needed to hear, and it's something you don't often hear when we talk about living a healthy life. But the reality is your healthiest life happens when you are feeling good, when you feel inspired, when you're living with purpose. And we know this when we look at the opposite of that. Typically what we see when people are ruled by their habits, ruled by their addictions, ruled by toxic relationships in their life, it's because at the core they're ignoring their purpose. They're betraying themselves every day, and it's just so easy to be stuck. So this maybe should have been tip number one, but they all work together. And before you know it, you'll find yourself happier, healthier, living purposefully, and wanting to help other people in that way. And I guess that's what you would call the business of what I do and who I work with. You'll never see me recruit people to the work I do. I just won't do it. It doesn't fit my vision for what I believe this is. Because what I know this to be is a movement where people have taken deep care of themselves and that they feel called, and the next level for them is to help other people do that. And you can't do one before the other. Okay, let's go to 3 quick questions. Sue said her staff are standing here watching. They just fell in love with you. Well, hello, staff. I'm glad you could join in. I love your girl, Sue. Okay. Okay, 3 questions, and then we're going to hop off. Thanks for staying on live, you guys. This is fun. Okay, so number 1. This person wrote in and said, you've talked about promoting yourself in your black and white video, which I loved. And just so you know, on iTunes, that will be the first podcast you'll see. It was like a space holder on there. Can you elaborate on promoting yourself and what ideas you have for inspiring your team to become more motivated to actually show up to things? So there are kind of two questions in here, but they actually are the same thing. So I guess my overall answer here would be the way that what I mean when I say promoting yourself, I mean having a higher belief in yourself than anyone else could. This is the work. When you are an entrepreneur, when you want to be in service and add value to other people's lives, you have to believe that you can, and I want you to know every one of you can, absolutely. But you have to understand your unique value you bring to the conversation and how you can help people. So when you want to motivate a team, the reason these are kind of the same thing is when you are clear on your vision and your why you're even doing this work, and you talk about it and it is felt in the experience of you, you are naturally going to inspire your team. You are naturally going to attract people to your team and to the work that you do because they want to be a part of that with you. Because your clarity on your vision and your why is so clear, okay, they can see that they can bring theirs to life as well. That's it. That's what it means to promote yourself. You have a higher belief in yourself, and from that belief, you do things that scare you, but you do them anyway. You promote yourself. You get out there. You teach the class. You do the public speaking. You pop up on Facebook Live to add value to other people's lives. You don't play small and look around and copycat everyone else. You show up and you bring your message to life. That's what you do when you promote yourself. Because I'll tell you something right now, like, why in the world should anybody join you in what you're doing if you don't believe it yourself? Like, they're looking for somebody that is so clear on what they do. And that's what you want to bring to the conversation. Whenever somebody experiences you, could they go and tell their friend who you are, what you believe in? It's a really good test. Second question, I understand the concept of you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And I want to be around people who inspire me and push me to be better. Okay, this is a long question, but then she says, how do you attract amazing people into your life while also trying to help people who have physical or emotional problems? Does that make sense? I've been feeling weighed down by negative and complaining people in my life. So I think this again comes back to clarity on who you are and what you do. You will find that the clearer you are, it will work its way into your messaging, okay? And you just won't attract people who are not interested in taking action in their life. And it's subtle, okay? If you're somebody who gossips, if you're somebody who is not supporting other people, if you're somebody who reads the news all the time and you're filling your mind with there's a lot of negative noise up here, you will attract people that want to stay stuck, okay? Because in a sense, you're integrating stuckness into your own life, okay? Now, I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm just throwing that out there in case it is. What often happens, though, is we think we can help everybody. So in doTERRA, for example, there's not a single person in this world that would not live a healthier and happier life by using pure essential oils, because they have vast benefits, so many benefits to all the pillars of our health, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So there's not a single person they wouldn't benefit. So we tend to think we're here to help every single kind of person. And we offer samples out to people and we think we can fix all their problems, okay? So number one, you're a guide for people. You're not here to do the work for them. And if you are feeling like you're feeling the energy of those people, it's because you're overgiving and you're not setting up proper boundaries with your time or what you're giving. So for example, I rarely give samples of oil out to people. I only give them to people that I know have a genuine interest in living a higher quality of life, that are wanting to do the work around that, and that are truly wanting the proper tools to support them. Oftentimes, these will be people who were like me, were using a lot of different other companies before, and they want to understand, what's up with doTERRA? Why are they so big? Why do I keep hearing about it? Those are the kinds of people that I personally will sample. So you want to kind of qualify people for your product or for your time, right? There are lots of ways you can qualify people. You need to figure out where's the leak happening for you, where you're over giving. People will always take what you give them, always in life. This comes, for those of you that are in a leadership position and perhaps you mentor people, if you tell someone that you'll talk for an hour with them every day to help inspire them, they'll take it. Now, they won't always show up for the call, and you'll be left thinking, well, this was a waste of my time. But if you offer it, people will always keep taking what you're giving. So only you can control what feels right and what doesn't. So sometimes you have to reflect on your week and think what was light and what was heavy. And you move away from the heavy and you keep moving towards what feels light, because that's growth. That's where you need to be. There's no template for how you should be running your business or your life. Only you know what feels right according to what your goals are. Now, you need to be a student of people in the beginning. If you are in the business of guiding people, you have to go through a season or a learning curve of understanding what works and what doesn't. It's the only reason I can speak to this is because I've spent years giving of my time and adding value to people, and also time where it didn't feel good anymore. I've spent time in that funk where I knew I was overgiving and trying to get to the root of why I was doing that. Okay, why I was giving to people that were not in action. What's up there, And I had to do tweaking with my time and with my schedule, and get to the point now. But I had, you have to go through that time of learning from people, learning what works and what doesn't, right? So I hope that helps. I think, again, it's up to you. It's up to you to decide based on what your goals are, how you're going to be giving of your time, and also, not taking on people's stuff. That's their work to do. All you are here to do is to guide them in the right direction. That's it, right? Their life is not your responsibility. Last question was around wanting somebody in their life, a friend of theirs owns a business, and this person, sorry, let me back up. So this question, I have to summarize it because it was really long. But somebody said, I have this contact who owns a retail business I'm wanting to bring the oils into and educate, but this business owner has just come back and said, well, what's in it for me? So I kind of thought this was funny. I love this because this person at least is being super honest. So number one, if somebody owns a retail business, a spa, a health food store or something, ideally they're doing it because they want to help people live a better life. Ideally, that's why they're in business. So they would see that you coming to educate and integrate the purest essential oils in the world into what they're doing because it's a good fit. They would see that as a great thing for their customer. But at the end of the day, here's what's up here. This retail business owner has spent a lot of time growing their business. They've invested usually their whole life to grow what they have at that moment. And they're feeling like, why should I let you come in with your essential oils and teach my community and build your own business off of it, right? Obviously, and that's natural that they would feel that way. So you have a couple of options in these situations. There are a lot of retailers that sell doTERRA because it's a great first exposure for people to experience the oils. It's not the preferred way. Not a lot of people like purchasing the oils at full price because the wholesale option is so simple. Anyone can do it. It doesn't mean you do the business at all. So having said that, a lot of people would rather go try doTERRA for the first time by paying full price for this bottle of lemon at the spa down the street, okay? So there's value in having the retail opportunity available if you own any kind of a business. And you, of course, have to get approval from doTERRA, but it's a pretty simple process. So right there is a way that the retail owner would actually earn a profit. They themselves would purchase doTERRA through their wholesale account, and then they would sell it at full price. So they make a small window of profit there, right? The second option would be they enroll because they're interested in actually building a residual stream of income. Any smart business person knows they have to have a residual income stream, at least one. Like, if you don't get why that is necessary in today's economy, you're going to be out of business in a couple of years. You have to have at least one stream of residual income that you earn all the time. Every person really needs this because there is no, we don't have a stable economy anymore. I'm sorry, but there are no corporations anymore that you will work with your whole life. It just doesn't exist anymore. And the majority of people working today are going to be replaced by robots over the next few years, unless you're in a very skilled service, something that a robot couldn't do. So the reality is, this is the time to have, to diversify, to have different things you're doing that you're passionate about, okay? That is one of the main reasons doTERRA is so appealing to people in the health industry, is because they're already living that message and educating and speaking that message, and this gives them the right product category to integrate into the work they're already doing. So if somebody runs a natural health or holistic spa or a gym of any kind, because that's promoting health, which the oils integrate really well into, or a hair salon, let's say, or a health food store. I mean, there are a lot of varieties that people integrate. Enrolling if you're a business owner, enrolling as a wholesale wellness advocate in doTERRA would be your best option. And then, your friend who does doTERRA and introduced you will work with you to build your downline. So they'll come and often teach several classes. They will educate, and you'll have a small team start to grow. And you can decide with them how what kind of adventure you want to have here. But offering your customer base the option to purchase doTERRA as a wholesale customer is the best way to serve them. Okay, and that is the best way to leverage this opportunity. Okay, so yeah, and then the third way I would say would be referrals. You could, if they don't want to, play at any level there, you could at the very simple, at a very simple format, offer to go and educate maybe once a month, do a community class on oils, how to use them, why doTERRA, how to use them safely. And then anybody who ends up getting started with a wholesale account, you might offer that retail business half of the commissions. So some kind of a referral bonus. But yeah, I think you need to work out with that owner, what would be the perfect scenario here, because their heart is in the right place. They want to help their customers live healthier and happier lives. All right, you guys, today was a long one. We went well over an hour. So I think that next week we'll do a Q&A cleanup because we have a lot of questions coming in. So just before we go, I did want to mention one of my core programs that I run twice a year is a 7-day detox. It's a little more intense than other programs you might have been in the past, but it's called Ready, Set, Glow. Okay, and it's coming up. Let me just see if I have it in my notes. It's coming up October 23rd to the 29th. So again, it's called Ready, Set, Glow, and my assistant Jill will post the links for you guys so you can see the full details on the cleanse. I've kept the price super low. It's $40 and you have lifetime access. So this is one of the core programs for living a holistic, healthy life. It's the launch pad for more people. Of the thousands of people I have coached over the last decade, this is the program that they all say it started here for them. This really kicked off their journey. So join us for that. It's a great week. You're in the community of a lot of other high vibe people. It's open to anybody. It incorporates juicing and whole foods and blended meals and essential oils if you use them. It's a great kickstart, and I run a cleanse program basically every season. So I hope you'll join us for that. But great to be on with you guys. I'll get the podcast uploaded to iTunes, and we'll be back next week. We'll do a round of Q&A. So good to be on with you guys. Let me just see what comments we have at the end here. Leanne, she says, super excited that you'll be in Kelowna for post-convention tour. You're an inspiration for me. Thank you, Leanne. I look forward to meeting you. I've never been to Kelowna, so I'm really excited, and Chris is going to be coming with me. All right. Well, we're going to hop off now. I'll get this uploaded, and we'll see you guys back next week.